Hi there, everyone, and welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Sara Newman, and I'm so happy you're joining me for this episode of Saturday with Sara. Today, I'm excited to show you the Elegance of Blue collection from our friends at Ciao, perfect for Christmas cards and winter-themed greetings. And we have two packs to play with today. We have the Creative Pad, which is an A4 size, so slightly larger than 8.5 by 11. And we have an 8 by 8 paper pad. So let's take a closer look and we'll start right here. Now here you've got 12 double-sided papers, so let's flip through. But first, take a look at the front of the pack. You have artwork here that you can use, so on this side, but you've also got more artwork on the other side there too. Everything is in this beautiful blue color palette, really nice and easy to work with. The papers, of course, will combine beautifully. You've got winter scenes, winter flowers, lots of really pretty pine cones and florals. You also have some beautiful all-over designs here which will coordinate perfectly. You have some cutouts here, so these four perfect for card focals or for the inside of your card. Really elegant paper pack. And I think this is just a stunning collection. So this is the end and the last sheet in there. So then to go along, we've also got the Creative Pad. So let me bring this back in here too. Now this has 9 double-sided papers, and again, you can use the design on the front of the cover. So you've got a nice large image here, and then you've got some smaller elements that could be cut out. Of course, one side or the other side, and in this case, you have a nice large element here, and then 3 smaller pieces down at the bottom. And then the rest is this really nice combination of cutouts on one side and all over patterns on the other. So there's a lot to work with in here. I like how some of them give you some room for personalization. Others have a big, beautiful focal image on there, so you can just cut that out and add it to your card or your other paper craft. Some tags and really, again, just gorgeous artwork, beautiful imagery, and of course the other side of those patterned papers are just beautiful and so easy to work with. Here's the last of those. Now, of course, these can be used separately, but you can also use the packs together because they are designed to work perfectly together. And of course, I'm going to bring in a couple of other paper crafting supplies to add just a little bit of sparkle and shine to our projects today. So I'm really glad that you're here today. I'm so excited to explore the creative possibilities with you. So come play with us. Our first card combines the elegance of blue papers and cutout elements, plus a little bit of sparkle, courtesy of the magical reindeer dazzles from hot off the press. So here I've started with some tone-on-tone pattern paper, which I think is just gorgeous. It's like a vintage wallpaper design. And I've simply trimmed that down slightly smaller than the front of my card, and I inked the edges with my trusty grayish ink pad. And that's just going to give a little bit of shading and shadowing around the outside edges. It's not too stark of a line, so it won't compete too much with the overall soft color palette that we're working with today. So the grayish, as usual, goes with this color palette as well as so many other ones for simple inking around the outside edges. My focal is one of the tag cutouts from the Creative Pad, and we're really spoiled for choice on these. So you can see from this one sheet, I've got lots of different tag options here. And the one I chose, I picked because it had this open oval area here, perfect for my little silver reindeer image. And this is from the Magical Reindeer set. So these come in gold and silver, and I'm using the silver for my card, but you can see the design here on this sheet of gold and all of the elements that you're getting. So I have my reindeer, plus I have the borders I used at the top and bottom of the card, and then lots of swirls and stars for accent pieces on here too. I placed the reindeer right in the center of the oval, and then I foam taped that onto the card front with a bit of ribbon from the white ribbon set tucked underneath at the top. And the white ribbon set has some sheer options in there as well. I really like the white, solid white grosgrain for this one, just to add a bit of texture to the card. Then overlapping, I have a label cut from the 8 Labels die set. So this die set is one that I use very often. I really like these two banner shapes here. You have a small and a large, and I used the small one for this Believe down here. So I die cut that from some of the pattern paper, inked the edges with my grayish ink pad, and then added the Believe sticker on there from the Magical Reindeer set. And then I curved this piece just slightly to create a little bit of movement on there. And then I've foam taped that down in place as well. Now the corner treatment here is a collection of pine cone and leaf cutouts from the 8x8 paper pad. So remember that sheet that we had with all of the cutout elements on here? This is what I've used. And simply cut out 2 of the pine cones and 2 of the leaves and pop those up, overlapping with some foam tape there. And I've also accented those with some of those swirling snowflake dazzles. Then for my card inside, I have a couple of strips of leftover pattern paper, and then the larger reindeer plus the magical Christmas sentiment. I really love this little bird cutout from the Creative Pad, and I knew I wanted to use it on the front of my card as a focal. Well, it's pretty small. It's about 1.5 inches by 2 3/4, and my card is 5 by 6.5 inches. So although I wanted it to be the focal, it looked pretty lonely just all by itself on the front of my card. There was a lot of space around the edges. So when you have a small element like this, you can grow it by adding other pieces around it. So pieces that will accentuate it without overwhelming it. Here I've added in some foliage and a poinsettia from the Christmas Past die set. And I've added in a little bit of sparkle here with the gold glitter cardstock pieces and my dazzle and some caviar beads. So let's take a closer look at some of the different techniques going on here. We can start with the die set. So here you can see the full set and you can see the images that I've used. I've got this large foliage piece, which I really, really like. I've used this twice, so I've got point in different directions here. And I've got also the pine boughs and then some of the holly leaves and some of the little berries that you can see here too. So I've cut out the leaves from a really neutral background paper and tucked them in around the cutout. So the cutout is attached with foam tape, and so are just some of the leaves on this large foliage piece, and then up here and down here as well. So I have just foam tape underneath those wider or larger portions of the die cut, and then the rest is glued down and just tucked underneath the cutout. Now the gold pieces are die cut from gold glitter cardstock. It comes on bigger sheets, but I'm going through mine quite quickly because I love this stuff. You can get really fine, intricate die cut pieces from a nice sturdy cardstock without getting glitter all over the place. So this just makes my Christmas crafting a little bit tidier. Then I've got my poinsettia. So this is made up of 2 pieces. You've got the larger and the smaller. And what I like to do is cut some small pieces of foam tape and just put those on the outside edges and then attach the 2 of them together. And you can kind of play with the positioning of how you want that to go. And I've just got that popped up with some foam tape. I inked around the edges of this poinsettia with my grayish ink pad, and then I added the caviar beads in the center. So let's talk about those caviar beads. These are new to me and these are fantastic. So they're 2mm no-hole beads, and they make such a perfect flower center like you see on here. So let's talk about how to glue these down. I'm going to bring in my little plastic container here, and I have one of the cutouts from the collection today. I've also got my Creative Expressions glue in my precision applicator, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right in the center there. It's kind of like embossing powder. I'm just going to dump the caviar beads right on here. Close that up and kind of tap this down. You may want to use some tweezers to kind of move things in place. And then I just need to let that dry. Now my trick is to take an acrylic stamping block and pop that right on top. That will hold those beads in place until everything is dry. It won't take very long. I can close this up and set it to one side. And I don't have to worry about those beads going everywhere. So I have my poinsettia overlapping the bird cutout, and then the whole arrangement is on this blue pattern paper, which is layered onto the gray pattern paper. Of course, inking going around the outside edges there with my grayish ink pad. And the Merry Christmas sentiment is from the Christmas Tiny Words and Phrases Dazzle set. And there are lots of different options for this. I've used the gold, there's the silver, we've got red, black, and green, and these just work perfectly, especially on those adorable smaller cutout elements. Then on the inside, I have one of the larger cutouts, plus another tiny dazzle, and some more cutout elements from the Christmas Past set. I really love the tag in a bag design for pretty much all year round, but especially for Christmas because it makes it so fun and easy to tuck in a small something like the tag, of course, but also other small and flat items like gift certificates. So if you are like me and you give a lot of gift certificates for the holidays, especially to those teenagers, this is a really nice design option and a great way to present those gift cards or photos, recipes, notes, and other small and flat items. So this is the die that I'm working with, the tag in a bag. You've got two pieces in here. You've got your bag and you've got your tag. So after you die cut those, you'll have the bag that looks like this and then the tag. Of course, this is designed to fit in here perfectly, but this also works really nicely on its own if you're doing a lot of tag art. So once you've die cut your bag and you've got your score lines, which will be marked on there, as well as this really nice outside edge, simply fold this up. And so I'll flip it over, fold in each of the sides, and I like to use a bone folder to really crease down those sides and make sure that they're laying flat, and then the bottom as well. You can score that really nicely too. You might want to use some extra sticky tape there to secure those sides and the bottom. And then once you've done that, you can decorate it as you wish. So I've die cut my bag from this beautiful poinsettia paper from the 8x8 set. And then I added a strip of swirls paper to go around the bag. I inked around the top and bottom edges of that swirl paper with my grayish ink pad to give a little bit of definition. And then I have gingham ribbon. This is from the gingham ribbon set. Let me grab that. You have all different colors. I chose the navy because I thought it really accented nicely some of the darker tones in the background paper. I've wrapped this around the whole bag and secured the two ends to the front so they're hidden beneath the cutout. The cutout is up on foam tape, and then I added the word joy and the stars from the Tiny Words sheet. And also I've added some caviar from the blue pack. So this is the blue pack. They come in red, black, and green, as well as the blue and gold. So you've got lots of options for your flower centers. But again, the blue just worked in here so nicely with this color palette. Then on my tag, I've got the cutout, which fits perfectly. And I've popped this up with foam tape. I accented some of the poinsettias with some gold star dazzles, also from that Tiny Words sheet. And then I have the word believe down here at the bottom on a strip of pattern paper. Our final project is a tuxedo card, and this is a really fun design. It's dimensional and it's also a bit dramatic with these fold back corners that create a really wonderful spotlight area for your card focal. It's also really easy to do. So let's take a look. I'm working with the tuxedo box card cutting die, and I've got 3 metal pieces in here. So I have my card back, card front, and my crossbar. Now you'll notice these black lines on here. This is where the score lines will come after you run these metal pieces through your die cutting machine with your cardstock. So you don't have to worry about creating those score lines on there, which is really nice. Hot off the press, of course, they're going to give you a project idea. Then on the back, you've got some written instructions, and you also have your step-by-step diagram on there for assembling this. So I've got some pieces kind of partially assembled so you can see how they all come together. So again, this is your card back, this is your front, and this is the crossbar piece. So that will look like this. There are your score lines, so you just need to fold those up and then glue this piece to your card back 2 3/4 inches from the bottom. And this is all stated on the package, so you don't have to take any notes here. Glue this down. When you're scoring up your lines, you'll score up the 2 sides, and you'll also score the center back. So you can see where this will kind of pop up. This crossbar is where you will put your tag or your focal, whatever image you want to have in the center. Now I always like to have my bone folder on hand. That's going to give me some nice crisp lines on here. So that's the back, and then this is the front. Of course, your tuxedo shirt is going to open like this, and then simply score those 2 together. And then you'll glue one on top of the other. Now you can use any adhesive. I really like using some extra sticky tape, and that's going to give me some added security here. So I'll put a piece here and a piece here, and then simply pop the 2 of those together, secure them down, and then you can see the base of my card. Super simple to do, and yet the finished result I think looks really dramatic. So I've cut my back from the snowflake paper. Now when you cut this from double-sided paper, keep in mind the reverse side of your paper too. So in this case I have some beautiful swirls and kind of an overall image here, but you do want to double check and make sure you've got the orientation of the pattern going the way you want it to, and make sure you don't have a bunch of cutouts on the back part too. The front part is cut from the wood panel paper, you can see here, and I've got some nice floral and star images when those corners fold down. At the bottom, I have a strip of floral paper and then lots of the poinsettia cutouts, all accented with the gold pearl caviar beads. My focal is this large cutout, which I matted onto gold glitter cardstock. And then I just added some more caviar and the word believe from the Tiny Words Dazzle sheet. I also have some Dazzle's borders going along here. Now these are from the straight line sticker sheet, which comes in handy when you want to add an easy border either along the sides or perhaps the bottom. I'm using the gold. They also come in silver. And this is our final project of the day today. So a big thank you to our friends at Ciao for this gorgeous collection, really beautiful papers and cutouts, and so much fun to work with. And a special thanks to you for joining me today. We're really glad you're here, and we're so happy you're a part of the Paper Wishes family. Do feel free to leave a comment. We love to hear what you think. Each item can be purchased separately, and you can see them below. However, we've also bundled them into a creative money saver just for you. For the money saver, see this webisode on paperwishes.com. And if you're watching us on YouTube, have a look in the description box below this video. You'll find a link that will take you to our Paper Wishes webisodes page, and you can see everything I just mentioned. If you enjoyed our video today, we'd really appreciate a thumbs up. It helps people to find our channel. And don't forget to subscribe. We create 3 to 5 videos each week, so there's always something fun to inspire your creative spirit.